All right, guys, welcome back to Crunch Time, the show where you get the best NBA DFS picks each and every day. Joined as always here with chrissair DFS, 7-game slate on this Thursday. How are you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing well. Excited for this slate as always. I had a few rough nights in a row now, so hopefully we can turn around today.
Yes, I actually am also excited for this slate. We have a great game here. As a basketball fan, Raptors fan, and as a DFS fan, the Raptors versus the Wizards should be a good game, right?
Yeah, I mean, those are the games that we love to play in DFS and watch in DFS against the Wizards. No defense, they play fast, so yeah, I love it too.
Not just that, though. It's a must-win game for the Raptors. I don't know if you knew that. I mean, not must-win, but I think if we open up the rankings here, go over to the Eastern Conference, you can see Raptors are fighting for that. I don't know. Are they fighting for it? I think they're fighting for it, for that 10th slot there. So I think they have 5 games left in the season. So I think they have to win this one because, I mean, that's the team that they need to beat there, or the Pacers. Do you think the Raptors can get in there, Chris, or no?
I mean, they're resting guys. Like OG is out today with injury management, so I don't think they're trying to get in there, but they are favored to win today.
Yeah, hopefully they do. Hopefully they get in. I'd like to see them in the play-in tournament. That'd be fun. The Pacers healthy? Like, is Sabonis and Brogdon, are they fully healthy right now?
No, Brogdon has been out for a few games in a row now. He's been the guy that we've been kind of taking advantage of with the Pacers.
I mean, is he coming back, or is he, like, what's up with him?
I mean, he's been questionable every day, and he's always been out. So today, another situation like that. I think we're probably gonna see him out once again, but obviously we'll have to wait and see.
Okay, let's jump into some of the success. Like you said, it's been kind of a rough patch, kind of a slow 3 days or so, but we do have some success here. Turn and burn over on DK. He did the night slate here, triple threat. 33 into 115, second place out of 35. Then he did the fadeaway here as well, 15 into 67. That was the night slate. And then one more 4-point play, $4 into 41. So he's been crushing it. Tournament guy there on DK, loves his tournaments. So that's solid stuff. We got Biscuit here, 52 into 101, 2 diamonds there. So yeah, that makes my job easier like that. But Yeah, solid stuff out of him. Double ups, tournament here, and more double ups. So yeah, solid stuff out of Biscuit. That's NBA action. We have Nick here. I think he said something. There was more, but I'm not about to post a ton of picks. Point is, I won. But what sports was it? NHL, won in NHL, and then MLB, won in MLB over on DK. So yeah, shout out to Nick. Solid stuff there. And then Aiden, last one here. So he did NBA main slate on DK, 48 to 88. Night slate, $20 into 60. NBA, and then baseball main slate on FanDuel, 57 into 90. After hours NBA, 23 to 48, and then single game slate here on FanDuel for NHL, $8 into 20. So solid stuff out of Aiden as always. Let me load up your contest that you just shared with me. So Aiden won over on DK main slate. I know he doesn't play the optimal that often anymore. So he must have done something a little different. His score was what, like 398, Chris. Was this a pivot from the top one? Do you know where this one fell, or the differences here between yours and this one?
Yeah, so this is the top one all day, pretty much. It had Connaughton, I had Avery Bradley. Just made the swap there, didn't work out. The big train was on Connaughton. Kind of expected it to be on Connaughton, but I wanted to get the extra rocket with DJ Augustine out. They only had 7 guys. So, I mean, I picked the wrong one here. That was really the only decision on DraftKings here. It was Bradley versus Connaughton versus Lamb from the Rockets. I should have went with Lamb because he's the young guy. He was coming off the bench on the Rockets. Played a ton of minutes because, like I said, they only had 7 guys. So, yeah, probably should have gone with him instead of Connaughton because we got news that Connaughton wasn't starting. So that's why I wanted to go to one of the Rockets. But if you scroll up, you can see the big train was on the Pat Connaughton team at 30th place here, and then above, if you go a little higher, it's 13th place with Anthony Lamb. So really just a 1v1 yesterday, or actually maybe higher, 7th place maybe first place.
7.
This one had Hampton actually, so maybe it was actually scroll down, 20th place I think, 21st, 22nd, sorry. Yeah, so this one had Lamb. So it was really just a 1v1 at small forward with Bradley versus Lamb versus Connaughton. Connaughton was the chalkiest one, Lamb was second, and Bradley was third. And then obviously Lamb did the best, Connaughton did the second best, and Bradley did the worst. So that's what happened on DK. Just happens like that sometimes. I guess when you're not going well, you kind of pick the wrong side of those 1v1s. But yeah, that's what happened yesterday on DK.
When it rains, it pours, Chris.
Yeah.
FanDuel, see some comments here. We can go over that after we do the homework here. So do you want me to open up any trains here, Chris, just to compare anything? 15th? No.
There's not many trains, I don't think. Like this one had Chetty. We weren't really considering Chetty. Keep going. Let's see if there's any other ones. Keep it going. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people landed on this lineup, so I liked it a lot. With Drew, didn't have Westbrook. Westbrook went for 80. We were kind of talking about that yesterday with the 2v2. Westbrook could win a 2v2 on his own just by the points he gets. I think he went for 80 on FanDuel yesterday, so that was huge. And yeah, I had Levert here, who was pretty low owned in most of my other contests. He was obviously 53% owned here. This is a smaller contest with less people, so you usually have better players in here. So Levert was 53% owned, only went for 23 in that great matchup. I mean, I don't know, it just feels like I didn't pick Levert a few days ago. He was like 40% owned. He went for 60. Picked him yesterday. Great matchup against the Kings. Only goes for 23. I think he had like 14 fantasy points going into the fourth quarter. So yeah, that was pretty bad right there. But yeah, I mean, I guess it happens sometimes.
Yes, it does. Do you want to go over anyone else here, Chris?
Not really. Like I said, a lot of people we usually go over landed on this lineup.
Okay. So yeah, the chat, we got Brent in here first up. It says with Westy on the cover, it's got to be fire tonight. Sounds about right, yeah? I mean, Biscuit always says it. He says, what does he say? He's like, DFS is easy. NBA DFS is easy. Lock Westy and cash.
Yeah, I mean, you get these players in different sports. Like for football guys, you have Christian McCaffrey, who did the same thing 2 seasons ago. And yeah, I mean, now you have Westy. I mean, Westy's been doing it for many years. So you have these guys who are just crazy production. And yeah.
Yep. T-Bay in here, he says, Russ is playing great as of late, and I admit that. But can someone tell me why the Wizards are still the 10th seed? Shouldn't they be higher with a quote-unquote great player like Russ? From Thomas Bay.
I mean, they had a really slow start, so I think that was a big part of it. But
I mean, their last 10, they're 7-3. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think their last 20, they're probably like 20-3. So they've been killing it recently. They were like at the bottom of the East before.
Yeah. Not sure what's going on. So I want to have the rankings open for the show. There we go. Yeah, then we got Ronald Jones in here. What's up, man? Rondo says, happy birthday to Chris Paul.
Chris Paul? It's his birthday? May 6th? Yep, it's his birthday.
The point god.
That couldn't be more accurate.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
You think he's one of the best point guards of all time? Top, like up there? Top 10?
Yeah, he's like probably top 5, top 3 maybe. Or probably top 5 is the safest.
That's rough. I mean, he hasn't even won a chip. That's kind of crazy. How much of a team game it is, Chris.
I mean, championships are kind of overrated in my opinion, but I mean, everyone has a different opinion on that.
No, I'm just saying he's so good, but he hasn't even won a chip yet. Like, he had just, it's hard to win one.
Yeah.
A lot of pieces have to fall together at the right time. Let's see. T-Bay says, I can't wait for Russ to get bounced in the first round or in the play-in tournament. Classic Russ, selfish loser.
No, he's gonna carry them to the. I don't know. I think they're my dark horse team. I like them a lot.
Yeah, he's good. Come on. Can you imagine if they won the chip? What T-Bay would be saying?
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris, we have 7 games here. That means we have 14 teams to choose from today. I mentioned this Washington-Toronto game. I think aside from the good game environment, like there is the play-in tournament narrative. Like it is more or less a must-win for the Raptors if they're trying to get in there. But like you said, they're resting OG. But I think the rest of the guys should be there. So, I mean, that game could be quite competitive depending on the direction the Raptors want to head for the last 5 games of the season. But other than that, what games here do you like? What news do you like here for DFS?
Yeah, well, that's obviously going to be my favorite game. I mean, whenever the Wizards play, we usually play the guys on the other side. Not too different here today. I like that team a lot. I like the Raptors. I like the Wizards. I love Westbrook. Probably easier to get to on DraftKings as always, but if you want to lock him in on DK just because he's been so good, I don't mind that either. We have some Charlotte guys as well with the injuries that they have, similar to last time. PJ Washington is back though, so that's the only difference. But we still have some value with guys like Caleb Martin, maybe Wanamaker, Jalen McDaniels. So I like them. And then we have the Hawks guys today going up against the Pacers. We love targeting the Pacers now. Ever since Miles Turner's gone out, they don't play any defense, so we love the Hawks today. Capella, Young, they look like really good plays on FanDuel, whereas on DK, we have some other guys like Westbrook, like I said, easier to get to. Curry as well. I like Curry a lot today on both sites. Even though it's a pretty large spread, I think he's a pretty safe spend up just because he does everything for that team, even in blowouts. So, yeah, that's a quick rundown here.
Nice. Let's get into it. First game up, Chicago, Charlotte. Let's see. So we'll go over Chicago first. We got Troy Brown Jr. out, Zach LaVine, and Nikola Vucevic, both marked as probable projected starters. Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Pat Williams, Daniel Tice, and Vucevic. So, yeah, Chicago side, Chris, what do you like here?
Um, so I mean, Levine is probable now. Vucevic is probable, so it's a little hard to play these guys. I think. I mean, no one's going to play Zach Levine. He's coming back from the. Oh, we just got news that Lowry is out today. He's being rested, so.
Place your bets.
Yeah, place my bets because, yeah, it just came to Fantasy Labs as well. So I do want to place some bets if I can, if it ever loads. It's not loading right now, so that's kind of annoying. But yeah, with the Bulls here, I don't know. I don't really want to play anyone with their guys back. Like, if you want to play Levine in tournaments, I'm fine with that. But not really too interested in them.
Okay. Let's go over Charlotte. So over there we have Cody Martin out, Gordon Hayward out, Bridges out, and then Devontae Graham doubtful. PJ Washington back in. Projected starters: LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Caleb Martin, McDaniels, and Washington. Any interest there, Chris?
Yeah, so I think these guys fit better for me on DraftKings. I think just the way pricing is, the way positions work, they fit a little better for me over there. But with that being said, I still like Terry Rozier a lot on FanDuel. He's 6.2K over there. I think he's a super solid play. In cash games especially, I think he's very safe on FanDuel for that price tag. We've seen him at like 7 to 8K all season long. Now we got him for this low price tag on FanDuel, so I think we can play him in cash games. And then the cheaper guys I mentioned on DraftKings are some of the value guys here. So Brad Wanamaker, 3.4K on DraftKings. FanDuel, he's 3.9, but you just don't really need it at point guard. Usually you don't really spend down when we have all these studs at point guard like Curry, Westbrook, guys like that. So more of a DraftKings play for me at 3.4K. He had a really good game last time out. Obviously, they're still missing Devontae Graham. He's doubtful, so we're going to treat that as if he's out. Wanamaker played 31 minutes last game, 29 fantasy points. So, I mean, for 3-4, I think he's a pretty easy play. Caleb Martin, same sort of thing. He's 5K on FanDuel, too expensive. DraftKings, he's 3.9. Got the start last time, so if he doesn't get the start, I don't think he's playable. But I do think he's going to get the start here. Just a pretty solid guy, production-wise, pretty active as well. So I do like him if he ends up starting. And then LaMelo, I didn't mention LaMelo. I think he's priced where he should be. Still a really good tournament play just because of the upside he has, but I don't think I really need it in cash games.
Okay. I was a little preoccupied there for a second. I was testing something out. I think Yuta Watanabe, we had him marked as 0 on the actual website, but on this test one, I don't think he updated. So I just was jotting that down so we can fix that later. But yeah, T-Bay here, he says, did y'all hear that Goga Bitadze, he cussed out his assistant coach, Chris? Mr. Clean was mad. I've never seen an assistant coach that hot before.
No, I didn't see that.
Mr. Clean.
I mean, Goga hasn't even been playing.
Can we pull up a clip? Do we have it? If you can find it.
Of Goga? I mean, we can go on Twitter and look it up if you want. I'm trying to fix something on my end here, so yeah.
I guess we can do it later. Let's get into the next game, Chris. Brooklyn against Dallas. Let's do Brooklyn here. James Harden's still out. I think there was an update that he would be or wants to come, something like that, for a couple games, not just the last game of the season, but he wants to get back earlier. So I'm not sure if that's like this week or next week, but there's only, 5 games left for most teams? 5 to 7?
I have no idea. I think there's probably like 8 to 10, but I have no idea.
Yeah. So he's still out. Chris Chiozza out. Projected starters: Irving, Joe Harris, KD, Jeff Green, and DeAndre Jordan. Anybody here, Chris, on the Brooklyn Nets that you like today?
Yeah, so I'm not too interested in KD here. Kyrie as well in cash games. I just don't really think I need to spend up for them when we have some other studs here. We were playing them before against the Bucks when the total was like 245 in that game. But I don't know. I think they're still decent plays, but I just don't think I need them here. Very good tournament plays, I would say, but like I said, in cash games, just don't think I really need it. On FanDuel, they're both more expensive, so if I am playing them, it's going to be on DK. KD is 9.9 over there. Kyrie is 9.7. I prefer KD. Just feel like he does a little more for that team. He's the lead guy over there, so I like KD more than Kyrie, but Kyrie's a great tournament pivot as well. I think they're actually both great tournament plays here. Just because they play a lot of minutes, we know that a lot of the production from the team is going to come from these two main guys. So that's why I don't mind them. And then another guy I want to mention quickly is just Joe Harris on FanDuel for 4-4. I think he's a solid last piece there. But I don't know if I really need it on this slate. We have some other small forwards who are popping. So, yeah, he's there if you need it.
Okay. David says, thoughts on Fred VanVleet, Siakam, and Westy as a core for DK tournaments.
Yeah, I love that. Especially with the Lowry news we got now. I think you got to probably play at least VanVleet, and then Siakam's obviously a great play as well. We have a great matchup against the Wizards as well, so it makes a lot of sense.
Probably some chalkier plays there, though, right? With Lowry being out now.
Yeah, they're going to be very chalky.
Yeah. T-Bay sent the video, Chris, on Discord. If you could send that to me, we can pull it up here.
Let's see. Yeah, okay, I sent it to you.
Let's see. Do you want to follow along, Chris? Because you don't have audio here.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I'll tell you.
Looks like the Pacers might be in a little bit of a zone, and that's going to be a foul against Indiana.
Good job by the Kings. Show some patience, move the ball from side
this
to
is
side.
Yesterday.
Little recognition as Coach Bjorkgren
Mr. Clean
is incensed about something there. Actually, the entire staff is. That looks like, can't tell with the mask. Is that Coach Foster? That's Greg Foster.
He's talking to one of the players.
But what did he do?
Feelings a little bit frayed on the edges. With the Pacers getting drilled by 21 tonight.
Well, that's the best time
to
get
Mr.
at
Clean
them,
duo.
by the way, just in case,
They're both
in case
Mr.
you're
Clean.
asking. When they start arguing amongst themselves, that's it.
This is not a great look right now for a team that is in a little bit of a tailspin. And Bjorkgren having a little conversation with his big man right there. And Greg Foster.
They're still going at it.
Hot.
What did he do, though?
Contentious.
I don't think we'll see him.
See Calbert Chaney right there. I believe that's Calbert under the mask. Might be.
Is that a foul? He's right here. I don't think he's mad yet.
Looks like the Pacers might.
What? Did he push him?
Looks like the Pacers.
Just bad defense, I think.
Pacers might be in a little bit of a zone. And that's going to be a foul against.
Open shot or what?
Looks like.
I don't know.
Two there? I don't get it. Not sure. Anyway, that's a good one. I wish I knew what was going on. Maybe, what? Oh my god. Anyway, David's asking thoughts on Trent Jr., Chris, on the Raptors.
Yeah, I'm fine with him now, especially with Lowry out. All these guys become better plays. I'm fine with him.
Yeah, T-Bay says the backstory is that Goga said sit the F down to the assistant coach, and the coach was like, don't disrespect me like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he would say that. That's messed up.
Do you think that's the real, like, is that what he actually said?
Probably. I mean, that coach was pissed.
Yeah, I mean, you got to stand up for yourself as a coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wonder why he said that. That's not. I don't think that's good. Yeah, Dallas, Chris. Let's go over the Mavs here. So we got Terry out, Zingis out, and Kleba out. Projected starters: Doncic, Dunkrat, Richardson, Hardaway, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Cauley Stein. I was trying to find the Dunkrat Overwatch intro, but I couldn't find it. Apparently, like I think it was on the Mavs Twitter. It was also like removed. They deleted it. Maybe they got into some trouble for that with Blizzard, Activision. Yeah, Dunkrat. Do you like him today, Chris, with no Zingis here?
Yeah, I like him a lot on DK. I think he's a better play there because you can probably fit him and Westbrook together as the two studs. You can probably even play three studs. You could throw Curry in there. So I like the DK build a lot today, but on FanDuel, if you're paying 10-9 for Luka, might as well just spend up like extra $700, get to Westbrook. It's kind of crazy to say that because Luka has been the guy this season, last season as well. that we've always wanted to spend up for. But now we're kind of going back to like 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago, where Westbrook was always the guy. So yeah, I mean, I'm fine with Luka. I like the matchup a lot against Brooklyn. It's one that we always like to target. He's only 10-9 on DraftKings, and on FanDuel he's 10-9 as well, like I said. So I do like him as a spend up, but probably more of a DK play. Other guys here I'm not too interested in, just because we know Luka does everything for this team. So if I'm playing one of these guys, it's going to be Luka on DK, and then maybe on FanDuel in tournaments. I don't mind that either.
Okay. Let's load up the best game of the slate here. Wizards, Raptors. Rondo says, LOL, Overwatch. I knew he'd like that one. Yeah, so we got the Washington Wizards, Chris, going up against the Raptors. Kind of went over like the play-in tournament narrative there. But I guess the Raptors resting Lowry now, so I don't think they care that much. Like, I think that makes it obvious, but who knows? Maybe they'll try, maybe they won't. I don't know. But yeah, let's go over Washington first. We got Hachimura out, and then we just have Chandler Hutchinson marked as questionable. Projected starters: Westy, Neto, Beal, Anthony Gill, and Alex Len. So we got the revenge narrative here as well, actually, for Alex Len. Started off the season, did his training camp with the Raptors, then got moved. So yeah, there's some narratives here as well, Chris. What do you think of the Wizards here?
Yeah, I mean, this is the best game, in my opinion, on the slate. It's not the highest over-under, but we have a tight spread at 1 right now for the Raptors. I think that's probably going to move to the Wizards' favor since this Lowry news came out. But yeah, we know where the production comes from on this team. It's Russell Westbrook. He's the main guy here. Pretty much the only guy that I really want. I don't really want Bradley Beal. I mean, he's a great play as well, but he's a little too scoring dependent for me. He's at shooting guard as well. We have Fred VanVleet there, who's probably locked now. So, yeah, it's just going to be Westbrook here for me. On DraftKings, you got to play him at 11K, just way too cheap. He's going to be 100% owned with what he's been doing. He's gone for 80 in back-to-back games, so that's just insane. Putting up crazy numbers, so I think you got to play him there. FanDuel, it's more of a question, just because he's 11.6K. You have Steph Curry for 9.9, so that's 1,700 less, which obviously makes quite a bit of a difference. But I mean, if you want to just buy into his hot streak, if he goes for 80, he's going to end up in the optimal team. So if you think he can go for 80 once again, you could just lock him in, play him, and that's definitely not a bad idea. So yeah, I like him, and he's the only guy that I really want to play here.
Okay, moving on to the Raptors side, we have OG out, Lowry out. Recently noted that Lowry was out. Yuta Watanabe out, Boucher out, Watson out, and then Gary Trent Jr. marked as probable projected starters. Is it going to be Flynn, Chris?
Malachi Flynn?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been Malachi Flynn recently
Yes.
when they rest these guys, so yeah, probably.
So probably Flynn, VanVleet, Trent, Siakam, and Birch. Sorry about that. What do you like here, Chris? So we had that, I mean, I've gone over it like 3 or 4 times now, but the play-in tournament narrative, maybe some of these Raptors will try a bit harder, but I don't know what's going on. Yeah, what do you make of the Raptors here going up against the Wizards?
I mean, I still love them here. Like, they rest guys, but they still play their main guys 40 minutes a night. So that's why I'm kind of confused on what they're doing. But you got to play these guys. Just great situation, great matchup. Everything looked good. Everything looks good. So I think you got to lock in both VanVleet and Siakam on both sites. I'll start with VanVleet. He's 8K on FanDuel. DraftKings 8K as well. Last game had a great game against the Clippers. Played 41 minutes. Lowry also missed that game. He got 55 fantasy points. So, I mean, just way too cheap here for this situation. He's going to be very popular and for good reason. So I think you got to play him. Siakam as well. Siakam is 8.6 on FanDuel. DraftKings, he's 8.1, I believe. Just way too cheap as well in this situation. So you got to play him. And then I think there's probably some decent value plays here, like Gary Trent Jr. He's 5K on DK. FanDuel, he's 5K as well. So I don't mind him. Obviously, he would have to start. He hasn't started he hasn't played in a while. Hasn't played since April 24th. So, I mean, he's probably a sneaky guy in tournaments. Obviously, minutes are a concern since he's coming off of the injury. Actually, I don't know if he's. I probably guessed that he would start and Flynn would come off the bench. So, yeah, I think Trent ends up starting here, but don't mind him. Obviously, great price tag for him. If he plays his full minutes, he should crush, but it's a pretty big if coming off the injury. Then we have Stanley Johnson, who I think is a decent play as well. He's been starting their last 2 games, been playing 30-plus minutes. He's really cheap on both sites. He's 3.5 on FanDuel. DK, he's the minimum at 3K. So we love playing these value guys against the Wizards. There's just so much production. They don't play any defense. They give up steals and blocks. So there's just so many routes for these guys to get there. So I'm good with any of these guys. Probably going to stick with the starters just because they're the safest. But I do love Van Vliet, Siakam, and Stan Johnson, especially if he's starting. And then Kem Birch, he could be in play in tournaments. A little expensive now. Only 5.4 on DK, actually, so I don't mind that price tag. But like I said, all these guys are viable.
Nice. Stanley Johnson. Let's go to the next one, Chris. Atlanta, Indiana. So Atlanta side, we just have Hunter marked as out. Reddish also out. Projected starters, Young, Bogdanovich, Trae Young, Tony Snell, John Collins, and Clint Capella. Anybody here, Chris, on the Hawks that you like?
Yeah, so I mentioned it earlier in the show. Just a great matchup here against the Pacers, who don't play any defense. So I love Trae Young here. He's 8.6 on FanDuel, just way too cheap. DK has him at 9.4, so that's probably where it should be. I still like him a lot over there. I think he goes for 50 plus here. But I just don't know if you need it just because we have so many good plays on this slate on DK. But on FanDuel, like I said, it's kind of hard to get to Westbrook because we have Trae Young here for 8.6, $3,000 less than Westbrook. So I think I'm going to do that, and then probably pair him with Curry. Like I said, if you want to play Westbrook instead of someone like Curry, I don't mind it, but I'm probably going to go with this pairing here. It's a back-to-back for Westbrook. He's probably going to crush once again. Hopefully he doesn't go for 80 because that wouldn't be good for my FanDuel lineup, most likely, since I won't have him. But on DK I will. But yeah, Trae Young here, he's a lock for me on FanDuel for 8.6. And then Capella, I think he's also interesting. He is 8K on FanDuel. On DraftKings, I think he's a little bit more expensive. 8.6. Yeah. 8.6 over there. So decent play, but if I am playing him, it's probably going to be on FanDuel.
Okay. Missed some questions, actually. T-Bay on the Raptors game says, can't wait to hear Matty D and Jack Armstrong tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be a great game to watch. I love watching these games where there's no defense being played.
Yeah. David had a question on the game. He says, he's asking if you prefer Flynn over Gary Trent Jr.
Whoever starts, that's what I'll say.
Okay. And then T-Bay's singing here in the chat. Jack Armstrong, Matty D. Willie says he's saying Flynn's going to start for the Raptors.
Yeah, he's been starting for them in this situation. They could start both of them together. If they both start, I'd probably, I don't know. Depends on like a restriction for Trent. If he's announced, or if it's announced that there's a restriction, then I'll say Flynn. If it's not announced, I'd say Trent. If they're both starting.
Okay. Hoops also says that Capella stinks, Chris.
Yeah, I like Capella. I love the matchup. That's why I like him a lot today. He's not a lock or anything like that, but I think if you are spending up at center on FanDuel, I think he's the guy you want to go to.
Okay, and then new addition here, Chris. Thoughts on his lineup? Maybe, I don't know if it's cash or tournament. Now he says it's FanDuel GPP. So tell me what you think. Trae Young, Curry, Wiggins, Herter, Bazemore, Johnson, Draymond, Bertans, and Capella.
I would try to get Siakam in there at power forward. And I don't love the shooting guards either. Who was it? Herter and
Wiggins.
Someone else? Yeah, I don't love those shooting guards. Maybe Rozier for 6'2". I like Rozier a lot. I try to get to Van Vliet as well. Like, you're playing Stanley Johnson at small forward, so might as well play the other two Raptors. I know it makes your lineup a little more chalky, but I think the spot is too good to pass up on.
Okay. Let's go over the Pacers. So we have two guys out here, Turner and Samson, and then we have Goga Bitadze questionable, left ankle. Do you think it's because of the coaching thing, the video we watched?
No, I mean, he's been questionable forever.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he played yesterday.
Yeah, Brogdon questionable, Lamb questionable, and then Sumner also questionable. Projected starters, we have Brogdon, LeVert, Sumner, Brissett, and Sabonis. Thoughts on the Pacers here, Chris?
Yeah, it really depends on the news that we get. So I'm just going to wait for the news. If Brogdon misses this game once again, we can go back to LeVert. Even though he didn't play too well yesterday, still a decent matchup here. Not going to be a lock or anything like that since we have this Fred VanVleet play, who's just an easy play without Lowry against the Wizards. But LeVert would be very good in tournaments. TJ McConnell, once again, 5'8" on FanDuel, 5'8" on DK as well. I think he would be a solid play. But it all really depends on the Brogdon news. Sabonis is 10.5 on FanDuel, 10.4 on DK, so he's pretty expensive. So I don't really love the Pacers here unless Brogdon's out.
Okay, let's load up the next game. Hoop says fade LeVert, way too overpriced and inconsistent.
Yeah, I don't really think you need him today, but I still would like him in tournaments if Brogdon is out today.
Okay, so yeah, next game, Memphis against Detroit. Go over Memphis first. So you got Grayson Allen out, Sean McDermott also out. Projected starters, we have John Morant, Desmond Bane, Dylan Brooks, Kyle Anderson, and Jonas Valanciunas. Anybody here, Chris, on the Grizzlies that you like?
Not too much here. Like maybe Desmond Bane because Grayson Allen is out once again. He got hurt, I think, in the first quarter yesterday. He played 6 minutes. We were talking about him on the show yesterday, just because he made Westbrook work on FanDuel. But he only played 6 minutes and then got hurt. So that bumps up guys like Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane played 31 minutes yesterday. So his minutes have been trending upwards. If he gets to start here, I think he's going to be a super solid play on DK. FanDuel, they have him at 4.8. DK, he is only 3.6K. So he's a better play over there. So I don't mind him. I think DeAnthony Melton is also pretty sneaky with Grayson Allen out. Should get a few more minutes here. He played 25 yesterday. Usually plays 21 in that range. So I would like him if he ends up starting, we would probably lock him, but I don't think he's going to start. But I do like him as a value piece here. And then John Morant had the huge game yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday against the Timberwolves. He went for 61. But I don't know, he's just way too inconsistent. If you want to play him on FanDuel, I'm fine with it for 7K. But we talked about all the point guards that we have: Trae Young, Westbrook, Curry, who are just in great spots. So I don't really want to play John Morant here in this matchup against the Pistons. If I am playing someone, like I said, it's probably going to be Desmond Bane or DeAnthony Melton.
Okay. Question from David, not David Correa. He says, thoughts on Gabriel Hill and Josh Hall for tournaments on DK, Chris?
Gabriel Hill and Josh Hall?
Yep.
Who's Gabriel Hill?
Maybe Gabriel Deck, probably.
Just feels a little thin for me. I don't really want to play Thunder guys against the Warriors. They're 15-point underdogs here, so yeah, I'm not too interested in the Thunder today.
Yep. Let's see what else. Hoop says, I think it's Dwight Powell, best value play at center, Chris, for him.
Dwight Powell?
Is there another Powell?
No. His game log has been good. Played 29 minutes last game, 40 fantasy points. 20 minutes the game before, 34 fantasy points. He's kind of priced up now. He's 4.9 on FanDuel. DraftKings, he is 3.5. So maybe on DK, I don't mind that play. I don't mind it on DK.
Yeah. Hoops also says fade all OKC. New edition, he says John Morant backing his statement up, top 5 yesterday, dropping 61. What was his statement? Do you know about his statement?
Yeah, he said he's top 5. I think that was after the game, though.
Oh, that wasn't before.
I'm pretty sure, because I saw it yesterday on Twitter. I'm pretty sure it was after.
So then he should play well today. If you want to buy into that's a narrative right there.
Yeah, he has all the talent in the world. He's just a little inconsistent. And I think on a slate where we have bunch of other studs who are very consistent. Don't need him in cash games for sure, but I mean in tournaments, like I said, he has all the upside in the world, so I don't mind it in tournaments.
Yeah. And then T-Bay here says Jaws overrated. New Edition says every night in DFS, expect the unexpected.
Yeah, it's a good words to go by.
Yeah. Let's go over the Pistons, Chris, other half of this game. So we have lots of stuff here. So we got Plumlee out, Dennis Smith Jr. out, Josh Jackson out with the toothache. Too many Sour Patch Kids for him, Chris. Jeremy Grant out, Hamidou Diallo out, Rodney Magruder out, Wayne Ellington questionable, Kojo and Killian Hayes also questionable. Projected starters, Hayes, Ellington, Sadiq Bey, Doumbouya, Isaiah Stewart. Yeah, what do you make of the Pistons here, Chris, today?
I think they're resting their guys, so we have the same situation that we've had in the last couple of games. So I mean, I never mind playing them. There's a few guys that we usually like to key in on. Usually Isaiah Stewart on FanDuel is a really solid play. He had a bad game last time out, so they priced him down to 5.8. So I do like him there on FanDuel for 5.8K. I think that's a really good play in cash games at power forward. Good matchup as well. Like, I don't think JV will get him into foul trouble. Obviously he could, but I don't know. I like Stewart a lot here. Should get a lot of minutes, 30 plus here for 5.8K. He's a good stocks guy, good rebounder. Gets a few buckets, easy buckets. So I like Stewart on FanDuel. I think he's a solid play there. And then I think on DK we have Sekou Doumbouya, who's 3.5. He's been playing, like, he had a stretch, I think 2 years ago, where he was just playing very well. I think when he was a rookie, maybe it was last year. Yeah, I think it was actually last year, not 2 years ago. I don't think he was in the league 2 years ago. But I think last year he had a stretch of like 8 or 9 games where he was just playing super well. He was priced around 5K on both sites. And I think now he's kind of regaining that form. He had a really good offensive game last time they played. Scored 20 points, 8 rebounds, 35 fantasy points. So I do like him for value here on DraftKings for 3.5K. Probably my favorite Piston over on DK, just because he lets you fit in a bunch of other studs. So I like him there. And then Jahlil Okafor is a little bit interesting as well. Like, we know this guy's a super good point per minute guy. On DK, he's 3K, so he's the minimum. Wouldn't do it on FanDuel where he's 4.5, but on DK for 3K, should see 20 plus minutes here. We know he's good point per minute. His problem is obviously defense, so I don't mind him if you need someone for the minimum on DraftKings and cash games.
Okay. Addition here, new addition, he's saying Graham is ruled out.
Yeah, he was expected to be out. He was doubtful, so doesn't change too much. I mean, it confirms our interest in guys like Caleb Martin, Terry Rozier on FanDuel for 6.2. Even LaMelo, I think LaMelo's a decent play.
Yeah, he also says Okafor is super sneaky, and then he says he's a dog.
Okafor is a dog? I don't know about that.
Some other questions, comments here. T-Bay says, LMA what? Josh said he's top 5. My goodness. What do you make of that?
Wait, can you say that again? Sorry.
He just said, he's laughing. He says, LMAO, what? Josh said he's top 5. My goodness.
Yeah. Is that Thomas? Sounds like a Thomas comment.
Yeah, that's Thomas.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think he has the potential to be one of the best point guards, but just too inconsistent right now.
Does Ben Simmons have the potential, Chris?
No, because he's not like he's like a defender. I don't usually put defenders in my top rankings. Yeah. But I mean, he's a really solid defender.
Yeah, he is. David Correa says, thoughts on Sadiq Bey with no Hamidou Diallo, Chris?
I'm fine with Sadiq Bey. He's the guy that's priced up on their team, though. That's the problem. He's 6'3" on DK, 6'4" on FanDuel. He's the most expensive guy there, so that's the reason I don't love him. I just think you can get better plays for cheaper on this team, point per dollar wise, but he does have some upside. So if you want to play him, if you're landing on him as a last piece, I don't mind him. I expect him to be pretty low owned.
Okay. And then Willie, he's asking Fred VanVleet or Trae Young, and why?
Fred VanVleet or Trae Young?
Mm-hmm.
Is that on, what site is that on?
What site is Willie playing on? Do we know?
No, but let me see, because on FanDuel, Freddie's SG, Trey is point guard, DraftKings, On DraftKings, the thing is, Trae Young is 9.4. Fred VanVleet is Fred VanVleet is 8K, so $1,400 difference there. Probably a FanDuel question, not just a 1v1, but I mean, I'd say Freddie. Freddie's a lock for me on both sides, but I think you can play both of them together.
Okay, let me go back to these filters. So yeah, next game up, we have the Thunder against the Warriors. We'll go over OKC first. Muscala out, Dort questionable, Pokusevski out. Projected starters, Theo Maledon, LeGuent's Dort if he is in, Baisley, Isaiah Roby, and then Moses Brown at the 5. Any interest here, Chris?
Yeah, so I think Dort is kind of interesting on FanDuel, just because he's cheap over there. Usually I don't like playing Thunder guys, but only 5.3K now. Like, we've seen him at 6K for the past, month or so. But his production has been worse. He's still shooting a ton of shots per game. He shot 3 for 16 last game, 4 for 19 the game before. So he's still shooting a lot, but they haven't been falling. But I do like him, especially if he plays here on FanDuel. I think he's a solid piece, last piece in cash games. Tricky thing is he has the questionable tag. It's not probable, so you're going to have to pivot off of him if he does end up sitting. And I'm not sure exactly who you can pivot off to, just because you don't have many games to choose from. But he is the guy I'm interested in. He's the only guy I really like here on FanDuel, where he's cheaper.
Okay. Other half, Golden State Warriors. Let me set the filter. We have Damian Lee, Kelly Oubre Jr., and Eric Pascal all out. Projected starters, Steph Curry, Wiggins, Bazemore, Draymond Green, and Kevon Looney. So, yeah, I think we had a lineup here. Someone was asking about Wiggins at the shooting guard. So I guess we can go over that. You said you didn't really like that. Who do you like on the Warriors here, Chris?
Yeah, so I love Steph Curry today. More so on FanDuel, where he's obviously cheaper. He's 9.9K over there. DraftKings, they have him at 10.6, so he's kind of priced as one of the top players on DK. I mean, that's probably where he should be. On FanDuel, I like him a lot because I think he's probably 700 too cheap. So I'm going to play him on FanDuel most likely if I'm not playing Westbrook. And yeah, he's a great play here. Only concerning thing is the spread. Warriors are favored by 15 points, but they're implied to score 121. Usually he still gets there in blowouts because he's the one that's usually hitting all the crazy shots. If he's not hitting shots, it's not very likely that they're going to blow a team out. So you have that going for you. Last game against OKC, they won by 40. Steph only played 29 minutes, but he got 70 fantasy points. So, I mean, he can easily get there in a blowout because he's going to be the one doing it. So I love him on FanDuel for 9.9K. I think he's my favorite play here. We also have Draymond Green. He's more of a tournament play, I think. He's 7.2 on DK, 7.9 on FanDuel. I guess I don't mind it in DraftKings cash games where he's cheaper, 7.2K. I mean, he has a lot of upside as well. He has a lot of correlation with Steph as well, so I don't mind Draymond. Wiggins, probably the guy I would stay away from. He's been playing very well, playing a lot of minutes, but he's kind of priced a little bit too much for me. 7.4 on FanDuel, 7.1 on DK. I mean, maybe as a last piece, but it's probably not something I would do. I just don't feel great playing Andrew Wiggins for 7K. Just not something I love to do, but maybe in tournaments if you really want it. I guess I don't mind that. And then I think Kevon Looney is kind of interesting on FanDuel as a last piece at center. He's only 4K. Played 32 minutes last game. I don't expect him to usually play that many minutes, but I think as a last piece, he's always solid. Always seems to get 18 to 22 fantasy points. So I think for 4K last piece, I'm fine with him.
Okay. Solo is in here. What's up, man? Willie says Bazemore as an alternative to Dort on FanDuel if Dort is out.
Yeah, I mean, Bazemore is $300 more, but yeah, I think that's viable as well for sure.
Okay. So next up, we have the Battle of LA, Chris. Clip show against the Lakes show. We'll go over the Lakers first. We've got Dennis Schroeder out for them. AD probable, Kuzma probable, Taylor Horton-Tucker questionable, Marcus Saul probable, LBJ out, and then KCP probable. Projected starters: Caruso, KCP, Kuzma, Davis, and Drummond. What do you think of Drummond here today, Chris? 6'6", no LeBron. No Schroeder here. Do you think he could have a ceiling game here?
Not really. Like, minutes have been trending downwards. I mean, he's just not too good. He can get into foul trouble. I mean, we know the upside he has, so maybe in tournaments you're going to get him at like 1% owned. So maybe, but I just don't love it. I don't love this entire game, especially in DFS. I think it's going to be fun to watch. It's always fun to watch the Battle of LA, but this is the lowest over-under on the slate at 211. Pretty large spread for the Clippers. They're favored by 8.5 right now. So I don't really love anything here in cash games, but tournaments, I think Davis is probably viable, especially if they do win this game, it's going to be because of Anthony Davis. So I don't mind going there. He's 9.4K on FanDuel, 9.6 on DK. We know the upside that he has. Hasn't really shown it too much this year, but obviously in years past, we've seen him consistently go for 60 plus. So he does have the upside. If they do win, it's going to be because of AD. So if I'm playing someone here in tournaments, it's going to be Anthony Davis.
Okay. Let's go to the other half clip show. So over there we have just Serge Ibaka out and then Coffee out for them. Projected starters: Reginald Jackson, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Marcus Morris, and Ivica Zubac. What do you like there, Chris?
Not much here. Like, I don't really want to play Kawhi or Paul George. Kawhi hasn't looked great recently. Paul George, we don't really love to play him when Kawhi's in. So I don't really love anything here. Maybe Zoo for a value on FanDuel, 4.3K. He played 30 minutes last night. Lakers play big, obviously, at center with Drummond, Harrell, Gasol. So it's a good matchup for Zoo. Should get the minutes here. So I don't mind him as value piece. Probably going to be my favorite Clipper tonight, but I'm probably not too interested in them here.
What do you think of the Morris narrative, Chris? Lock them both in?
I think last game that they played each other, I think they both had a crazy first quarter, but then kind of cooled down. So last game, Marcus Morris on the Clippers got 28 fantasy points. Markieff got 19. Markieff is kind of out of the rotation now, though, so it's kind of hard to do. But I remember last game, they both had a crazy first quarter.
What's the spread here? Maybe he can get a run if it's not close.
I mean, he's not really a blowout guy, but it's 8.5 for the Clippers.
Just for the narrative, no?
I mean, maybe, but they have Drummond now, so that kind of takes away a bunch of Markieff's minutes. He usually plays the 5 for them.
Fair. Let's go over the three pillars, 3 key plays here of the day. Royal King is in here as well. What's up? He also says Marcus Morris is the better twin. Has he always been the better twin, Chris?
I think Markieff was actually better before. When they were on Phoenix, Markieff was better, and then Markieff went to Detroit, I think. Marcus went to Boston, and then Marcus was kind of better, and he's been better ever since. I mean, he's like the wing. Markieff is like the bigger one. I mean, I think they're the same size, but he plays bigger.
Do you think they switch jerseys?
Ever?
Yeah.
In the NBA?
Yep.
Nah, not in the NBA. Probably before though.
Deshaun says this is a Stanimal night. I'm expecting a triple-double.
I'm not expecting a triple-double, but I do like the Stanimal tonight.
Okay, and then David's asking thoughts on Anthony Gill if he starts for Hachimura.
Yeah, was he the one that was talking about him yesterday? Because he did get the start yesterday, but he only played 18 minutes, 12 fantasy points. So I don't know. I don't really think I need it. I think we have better value pieces in other games.
I think it was David. But yeah, overall play, Chris, for you on FanDuel, safest play, cash tournaments in your eyes in today's slate. Who is it?
I got to go with one of the Raptors, Spicy P or Fred VanVleet. I guess I'll say Spicy P, but I mean I love both of them. I think I'm gonna play both of them.
Okay. Value play. Who do you have?
Value play. Give me Stanley Johnson, 3.5. I think. I mean, he has to be starting for him to be my value play. He started their last 2 games. Trent is back today, so maybe they're gonna remove Stanley Johnson. But I think he's been starting for OG anyways. So yeah, I'll say Stanley Johnson.
Okay, and then last one, tournament play of the day on FanDuel. Who do you have there?
Tournament play. Give me Karis LeVert just because he burned a lot of people yesterday. especially if Brogdon's out, I'll go Karis LeVert.
Okay. Let's do DraftKings. Who's your overall play there?
I mean, it's Freddie or Siakam. I'll say Siakam again just to keep it consistent.
Okay. And then value play of the day on DK. Who do you have?
I'll say Sekou Doumbouya for 3.5K.
How do you spell his name?
SEKU.
Tournament play on DK. Who do you have?
I'll say Karis LeVert once again, just because I don't think people will play him.
Okay, let's go over your cores over here. So you got Ice Tray, Spicy P, Steady Freddy. Why do you like these guys here so much, Chris?
I mean, the two Raptors, I think they're very easy plays here against the Washington Wizards with no Lowry, no OG. So they're going to be the two main guys. I think they're going to be very popular as well. So got to get those two guys in there. And then third guy, Trae Young, 8-6 against the Pacers. Pacers don't play any defense. I love the matchup here for him. So, yeah, that's why I like him.
Okay. And then which ones do you want to go over? First two or something different from Kevon Looney?
No, we can go over the first two for now. I don't mind Kevon Looney as the last piece.
Okay. Was this a 1v1 here? Looks like it.
Yeah. So Curry, Trae Young, that's like I think the question is if you want to play Westbrook or Curry, just because Westbrook has been crushing it. I mean, we can probably lock in Westbrook just to see what the difference is between the builds, but I think Curry here is pretty safe at 9-9. Only concern, like I said, is the large spread, but at the same time, he's going to be the one blowing them out if they do get blown out. So I don't mind him. Trae Young, 8-6. I think he's the lock just because he's cheaper. Great matchup for him, tight spread. So that's why I have him. Van Vliet, easy lock. Rozier, 6-2. Just way too cheap with no Devontae Graham, no Miles Bridges, obviously no Hayward. So it's a good spot for Terry Rozier, 6'2". I love that price tag. Dort, he's the guy that kind of scares me in this lineup. 5'3", he has the questionable tag. If he does play, he should have a really good game against the Warriors. Obviously, they don't play great defense. They play fast, so I think it's a good matchup for him if he does play. So that's going to be the big thing we're waiting on. And then Siakam Stewart, I think that's going to be the chalk duo at power forward. And then Looney, I mean, I don't love Looney, but I think as a last piece here for 4K, just kind of makes everything else work. I don't mind it. And then we have the 1v1, Stanley Johnson versus Mulder. If Stanley Johnson's starting, I got to go with Stanley Johnson, and we expect him to start. So, yeah, I like Stanley.
Okay. Now let's go over DK. Cores over here, you have Westy, Siakam, Fred, and then Doumbouya here. So why do you like Doumbouya here more on DK?
He's just cheaper. He lets you get Westbrook. He lets you get the two Raptors here. So I didn't have Westbrook on FanDuel, but I think on DK, where he's $600 cheaper, you have more value plays where you can fit stars and scrubs easier. I think he's easier to get to, and I think Sekou is a good value play that lets you do that. So
is that why you don't have Trae here?
Yeah, Trae Young is 9-4 on DraftKings, so he's 800 more than on FanDuel.
Got it. Which ones do you want to go over?
Let's look at the first two. I think it's also 1v1 here with Stanley Johnson versus Jahlil Okafor. But I'll go over the same players first. So we have Westbrook, 11K. Just an easy lock here on DK. It's going to be 100% owned once again. So, I mean, even if you don't want to play him, I think he's good to play as sort of a block piece, but I wouldn't see any reason why you don't want to play him. And then we have Caleb Martin, 3-9. Really solid value piece here. No Devontae Graham. If he's not starting, I might try to go somewhere else, but I expect him to start. He started last game. So I do like him for 3-9. Then we have Tim Hardaway Jr., 5'2", no KP, like you said. So decent play. I didn't really mention him too much when I was going over the Dallas Mavericks. But he's been playing very well. He's been starting recently. He started last game, played 33 minutes, got 44 fantasy points, scored 36 real-life points. And then in his last start before that against Detroit, he scored 42 real-life points, 50 fantasy points. So his shot is on right now. And obviously, I kind of like to buy into that sort of thing when a shooter is shooting well. I like playing them. So for 5'2", I think he's a solid piece here. And then we have Siakam, locked him in. Fred VanVleet, locked him in. Draymond for 7-2. Don't mind that play. He's also a last piece sort of guy, but I think he's cheap enough here where it makes him a really good play. Obviously, he does everything for them. He's always a triple-double threat, and you get a bonus for that on DK, so I like him there. Sekou locked him in as well. Then we have the 1v1 as well with Stanley, just like on FanDuel. I'm going to go with Stanley here. 3K, just too cheap. He's starting for OG most likely, so I like Stanley more than Jaleel.
Okay. Royal King is asking for this first lineup here on FanDuel, can you pay up for Westy somehow?
Yeah, let's try to lock him in. Let's see what we got. Yeah, so looks like you have to go double cheap at small forward. So, I mean, I might do that myself. Like, Dort's questionable. So it's Westbrook and Mulder versus Dort and Curry. I mean, definitely viable there. Just because if Dort is ruled out, you're going to have a tough spot or tough time trying to find a pivot. You're probably going to have to go to like Kenrich Williams. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely don't mind the second side here at all. I think it's definitely viable. Something I'm going to consider as well.
Nice. Let's do the single game here for King, Royal King. Which one, Chris? Atlanta, Brooklyn, or Battle of LA?
Yeah, let's do LA. That's the big one.
Okay, so AD MVP, Kawhi MVP, Paul George MVP. Yeah, who do you like your MVP? Seems tough.
Yeah, I mean, both the Clippers guys haven't been playing well recently. Paul George has been the better of the two, so maybe Paul George, but I'm not sure who's going to have lower ownership at MVP between those two guys. This one's kind of tough. I mean, I think AD is the safest option as your main guy, and then I do like Kawhi in tournaments just because he's had a few down games, but we know the talent that he has, so I like the Kawhi one.
Maybe lock in Kawhi?
Yeah, in tournaments. I think in cash games, I think AD is the play.
Okay. Anything else, Chris? Housekeeping stuff?
Yeah, I think we are good.
All right. First up, guys, check out our website optimizer that we've been using throughout the show here, dfscrunch.com. Link is also in the description. If you're a new member, you've never tried us out, you'll automatically get a free 3-day trial when you create your account. So you don't need a coupon code, you don't need a special link for that. Just go to our site. And then when you create your account, you will not be charged until after 3 days, so 72 hours from the moment you sign up. So you can set a reminder if you just want to cancel. More than welcome to do that. But do try it out. Completely free, full access during the trial. No limitations at all. You get our Discord community here. So all these channels here are good places to ask questions about the slate, about players, about the optimizer settings that people like, things like that. Great community, so people will help you out. We'll help you out. So you'll get access to that. You'll also get access to all the different, both sites, FanDuel, DraftKings, all the sports, plus all the different slates. So a lot of value there on that trial. And then last thing on that, so yeah, to manage your account, your trial, it's here in the sidebar. Just click sidebar there on the bottom left, hover over this account picture, click account center, and then that is where you can cancel or manage your subscription. So that's how you do it yourself. Other stuff, YouTube, if you enjoyed the content here, we appreciate the thumbs up, helps us grow a lot. And then also make sure you're subscribed as well, bell button clicked, and then the all text selected, so you can come back here, hang out with us, get your DFS overview out of the way. Always going to be 2.5 hours before main slate, always going to be free, and then always answer all the questions here. So lots of value here on the YouTube show, so be sure to do all that stuff. I think that's it, Chris. Anything else from you?
No, not really. Hopefully everyone has a good night. I'm excited to try to figure out this Westbrook decision on FanDuel because I do like the lineup with Westbrook quite a bit.
Yeah, looks like a good one. Yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate all the questions here. We'll see you guys all tomorrow, and we'll be in the Discord as always. And good luck tonight.